It's like clockwork. I already see it happening. Everywhere I look, everyone is posting about their 2024 success stories and their magical plan on how to succeed with their goals in 2025. I get it. Like, on one hand, it's very inspiring and you almost feel really motivated, but on the other hand, it's also very overwhelming. There's just so many different types of advice and different strategies, and I feel like I've been in a situation where I've done those things, I've tried those things, but I didn't have any success. And quite honestly, I'm terrified of trying it again and just failing. And so that's why I decided that I didn't want to become another 2025 New Year goal resolution failure. I was going to start things off differently and with the strongest intention to succeed. And since I have enough degrees to basically prove that I am a nerd, I decided to make this into an experiment. I feel like this approach helps to reduce a lot of the pressure and set my experiment up and see what happens. So instead of making this year-long resolution, which can be very daunting, I decided to break things into chunks. And there's a reason why there's a book titled The 12-Week Plan. And that's what we're going to do. I'm going to break down my 2025 goals into a 12-week plan. I mean, the research shows that with a 12-week plan, you're more likely to be more successful because having that shorter timeline allows you to be more focused and stay more motivated. I mean, just the idea of having a year-long plan is just so overwhelming to me. So I'm going to break it down into seasons. And that way, I feel like each 12-week plan can have its own purpose, its own wins, its own life lessons. So with my 12-week plan, I'm going to break it down into weekly goals and then identifying small daily plans so that I can achieve my goal. I feel like where I failed in the past is just coming up with a plan. And so what I'm going to do differently this time is to not just create a plan, but to create a foundation to make sure that I succeed. And that foundation starts with my mindset. Over the past year, I feel like I've grown so much as a person as I've learned to just treat myself better, talk to myself in a better way. And honestly, what really made a big change was when I started to define my own definition of success and happiness. For so many years, I just let self-doubt hold me back. And after meeting my husband, being happily married, having 2 children, going through residency, and then working in the military, I started to put on weight, like an insane amount. And I would be lying to myself if I said it didn't affect me. It was just so difficult for me to manage all those things. And then trying to learn new different hobbies, different crafts, I just didn't really have time to really focus on me. And the truth is, I really wasn't prioritizing myself. I wasn't even kind to myself. I thought that success was being able to help everyone that was around me. And I really had to unlearn that belief. So with the understanding that it's not just about the plan and that mindset is really important, I want to make sure that I have daily reminders of how to make sure that my mindset is proper. One thing that I'm guilty of in the past is basically being that voice that just follows you around 24/7, telling you that you're too old to do this, or you can't do this because of this or that. Always making up this negative excuse as to why you can't achieve your goals. And that's honestly like the worst feeling ever. And instead, I'm going to be that best friend that we all dream of, where 24/7 you have somebody reminding you that no matter what, despite this or that, you can do it. I'm going to try to be my biggest cheerleader, the first one to forgive when I slip up. And one thing I know I'm really bad at is celebrating the small wins. So no matter how silly things may be, if it's a win, I should celebrate. So if you feel like I feel where I've just been stuck for years, not being able to accomplish the one thing that I wanted the most, well, let's start small. Let's build a foundation and then trust the process for success. So to build my mindset foundation in my experiment, I'm going to need these components. I'm going to shut down that negative voice in my head that just constantly tells me what I can or cannot do. And instead, I'm going to be the voice of the person that I want to be. Next, I'm going to wake up a little bit earlier than I normally do. And I'll admit, lately it's been a struggle. But even if it's just 5 minutes, I'm going to wake up a little bit early to set my intentions for the day. And then before I go to bed, a period for some reflection. And no, it's not a time where I sit and think about why I said something stupid. Yeah, because I've been guilty of doing that. But more so expressing gratitude for the things that happened during the day and how I could do things differently the next. And then finally, making sure that I take time to celebrate the small wins. So here's my experiment for my 12-week plan. And that is losing weight. I know, very cliche for the new year. But like I said, I've been working on this for 5 years, and 2025, we're going to make it happen this year. And even though I've set the goal of losing 15 pounds, it's not necessarily about the number, but it's more so getting into better shape and just feeling stronger. I just want to feel good in my skin again. I want to feel more energy when I run with the kids. And most importantly, I just want to prove to myself that I can show up for me. And I have a track record of being the person to always show up for someone else. But somehow I've always just failed on me. And so each week can be broken down into daily goals. And for me, it will be taking a certain number of steps. I've tried meal prepping before and I've failed miserably, so I will not put that pressure on myself. Instead, I'm going to do more conscious eating. And then finally, I'm going to make sure that each day I carve out at least 20 to 45 minutes to just move my body. And it can be anything from doing my Peloton bike ride, doing Pilates, stretching. I just want to make sure that I stretch my body during that time. Because I know there are times of the month where I might just feel like crap and I might only get 20 minutes. But honestly, on my worst days, that's doable. So breaking it down into those small daily actions, I think will really compound and then end up with a bigger win. So yeah, with this 12-week journey, it's not just about simply changing my body. It's really building the life that I've always wanted. One where I feel strong, I feel balanced, and I feel really proud of myself for showing up. So let's do an imaginary toast to the first 12 weeks. Here's to showing up for ourselves in ways that honestly we've never done before. I mean, honestly, it's already happening. So let's make 2025 our year by taking things 1 week at a time, 1 week at a time. Your journey starts here today. You've got this.